Vision, with his enthusiasm, with his passion. He's definitely a leader in what he does, and I've totally enjoyed working with him, and I've been really excited for him to share with us how he went from 1 to 3 locations in just 2 years in the very same economy that we're all working in the very same valley that we're all living in. So welcome, Joe Allen.
One of the things that we looked at when we were going to basically, a lot of my friends, business owners, entrepreneurs that had money were holding on to it. They were just putting in pillowcases, they weren't going to trust the banks, they weren't going to put it in real estate, they were just holding on. And one thing that my wife and I looked at, and just, if you look at what Warren Buffett says, or Donald Trump, or just Robert Kiyosaki, when you look at what these people say, is the biggest transfer of wealth in anything is in a down economy. So it's the people that are going to take the risk, that are going to go out there, because if you just wait for the economy to come back, you're always going to be waiting. So it's the people that are going to make the shift and the change that are going to make the economy come back. So that's why, us little local business owners, we're the heartbeat of what we do. We're the heartbeat of the economy. And so if we're going to sit back and wait and not be bold, then people around us are going to do the same thing. So when my wife and I looked at it, and we had a little bit of money left, and we could have retired and sat back. We have 2 boys. Now they're 19 and 14, so we're just looking, and we just thought we had a business that we thought was economy proof. It was brokering in the transportation business, which we had little niche markets that we delivered and brokered newspaper inserts. So we had Walmart, Jack in the Box, Kohl's, and anything that you read in the newspaper that was an insert, we delivered all over the nation. Well, when USA Today, Times, Denver Post goes bankrupt, they no longer pay their bills. And so when we thought we had, when we thought we had this huge, it was a multi-million-dollar company, and all of a sudden we were holding the bag for these huge, used to be Fortune 500 companies, in little Caldwell, Idaho, we were just like, wow, it was serious. And so it was a gut check for us. We looked at it. We had the huge house. I drove a Hummer. My wife drove a Range Rover. We had the boats. We had everything in the economy where you think you're living the American dream. And I was driving the boulevard from Caldwell to Nampa. I had a gut check. And I don't know if it was a divine appointment from God, but it was like, what are you doing? What's your legacy? What are you leaving behind? And I literally had to pull into the Karcher Mall, and I was almost weeping. And I was like, wow, what am I giving back? What am I doing? What's my legacy when I'm dead, when I'm gone? And I didn't have a company that my kids could take over. I didn't have anything that, when we were gone, was my community any better. And so I was just like, wow. So I went and talked to my wife, and I said, hey, do you want to sell our house? And we had a dream home in Meridian, acre, 8,000 square foot. We call it the Little Taj Mahal. And we had some equity in it. And I said, hey, do you want to sell our house and our cars and just get back to the basics? And my wife grew up in Melba, so just a little town. She was like, yeah, I would love that. So we started selling off, and it seemed like when we had our rental properties and we were selling, the banks every single day changed their buying patterns. I mean, we would sell something and people couldn't get approved, and so then we started carrying a lot of contracts and just doing some things just to try to consolidate and just try to have our money so we knew what we wanted to do. And my passion, I was an athlete, played football, basketball, wrestled in high school, baseball, had a full-ride scholarship to Iowa to wrestle in 91, and I ended up marrying my high school sweetheart. So my wife and I have been together 20 years. And I've always gave back to Caldwell. I've coached basketball, football, baseball. And one of the biggest things that I saw in those kids is they didn't have a positive role model. A lot of those kids were from broken homes. A lot of their kids are the kids that didn't have a dad. The dads were in prison or gone or just nothing. Just no positive male role model in their life. And so when I had this gut check and this divine appointment, I was like, what are we going to do? What's our legacy? What are we going to leave behind? So 15 years we've been local business owners. We knew how to grow business. We knew what we were doing. But we decided to start a nonprofit business and to start our community center in Caldwell. So we bought this huge facility, 30,000 square foot on 5th in Maine, downtown by the police station. Spent over $300,000 trying to get a remodel, put it all together. And then when we looked at it, we still weren't open. There was still nothing there. And try to fundraise in this economy, try to go out and not get a grant, just try to be self-sustainable. So when we looked at it, we thought, what are we going to try to do? What's our difference? And it was really, if you look at inspire, if you want to inspire somebody, if you take it back down to the root word and the Latin root, it means to breathe into. So if we want to inspire kids, we want to breathe into their life, we want to do the most positive thing. And so what we looked at is we want to start a learning center in the community center, have a learning center before and after school, help at-risk kids. And then we want to have a nutrition. So Newko was created. It was kind of weird, but in my spare time I like to read Go Giver, great book. Go Giver Sales More is incredible too. But part of what we were looking at was Newko is a Greek word. It means guardian of the temple. So your body's a temple. So we want to do mind, body, spirit. So we wanted to educate the kids, right? And then we want to teach them about nutrition, and then so we wanted to have a nutrition store, a gym to get them healthy and get them up, and just put it all together. So when I was $300,000 invested and didn't have anything to my name but just big shell, I was like, what are we going to do? And so I started talking to some networking, so some of the business owners that I respect in the community, I just sat and talked to them. And they said, you got a great idea with your nutrition store. Why don't you open a for-profit first, build it up, and then as you start going and writing your business plan and look at what you really want to do, have it funnel in and fund your nonprofit. So a lot of things that I learned about a nonprofit is we want to have Christian values, but a lot of things that you do, if you go get a grant and you start writing grant, the government starts coming in and they tell you what you can and cannot teach. And we didn't want that. We didn't want them to dictate what we wanted to teach the kids. And so we knew we wanted to be self-sufficient. So we decided, we've already spent $300,000, what's another couple $100,000? There's no banks giving loans, so you have to start business in this economy with your own money or your friend's money, right? So we started Newko in Caldwell, and one of the biggest things is I didn't want to be known as a bodybuilding.com or a GNC or a Max Muscle, a vitamin shop. I knew I couldn't compete with those people, and if I started trying to compete, I would fail. So one of the immutable laws of marketing is create a first or come first to market. And so when I was looking in Caldwell, there's not a sports nutrition store in Caldwell, so I'd be first to market. And then I could do what everyone else does, or I could do something different. And this is where we just started to do face-to-face marketing. I went into the schools. I told them my vision, what we really wanted. I shared my heart. And we just started networking with the schools, athletic directors, the communities, and let them know we're here. We want to give back. We want to help the kids. We want to educate. I just don't want to sell protein. If I just sell protein, I fail. So I made our business not about our product, but about us. So that's one of the biggest things I can tell you in our economy, why we've grown 300% in 2 years. We've grown about 30% a month, and continually the last 19 months. And it's never been about the product. You know, if you hear my radio ad, I'll say, you know, we'll never lose a sale or customer due to price, because it's not about price. So when we looked at it, our core value was a sale occurs when value exceeds price. So we're always building value. We're building value in who we talk to, what we do. And one of the biggest things as we start growing, we were at a tipping point of, do we continue to go, or do we stay ma and pa and small and just stay here? And the funny thing is I can't go to G